Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of Nucleane Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Pocatello Business Podcast. We are sponsored by Dell's Outdoor Advertising, and we are also sponsored by Pack and Go. You guys give them a holler, mention the Pocatello Podcast. They've got some free stuff they're going to throw your way if you use their services, and they're amazing. Use their services, support local. Anyways, I'm kind of in the middle of a remodel right now. So if you hear some chatter upstairs, some machines going on, that's what's going on. So I'm hopefully with these buds and stuff like that, we'll see what happens here. So today, guys, I'm by myself. I figured, you know what? I figured I'd talk about something that we've been struggling a little bit lately with is, and I know, especially with the unemployment and the extra money they're giving to unemployment, for people that are on unemployment, people are probably struggling with hiring, especially those who are in service industry jobs and those type of industries. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what we do and what I've seen that it's worked so far. So number one, I have a wise man that I can he's my consultant, and his name's Mike Campion. He helped me understand quite a few things about business. And when I was asking him about hiring and everything else, he said, okay, let's get some core values established with you. And I said, well, core values, what does that have to do with hiring? And he said, trust me, this is what you need to do. And I said, okay, well, let's make up some core values. He's like, no, you don't just make them up. You got to discover them within you, because your core values are yours and they'll follow you. If you sell this company and you start another company, you're still going to have those same core values that you're going to run that company off of, no matter what it is. I said, okay. So first thing that I would recommend to you guys when you're coming up with some core values for your company, and I know we've heard this type of thing in corporations and stuff like that, but the reason why core values are important is because you establish what is important to you and what is important for you to have an employee, and what are no-fly zones, and where you want to what type of qualities you need and want in an employee. So the first thing I would tell you to do is write down 4 things that drive you crazy. And that's just personally, because these are your core values. So write down 4 things that drive you personally crazy, and then write them all down. After you do that, text like 3 to 5 people, some people that are really close to you, that know you very well, family members, your mom, whatever, and ask them, give me 5 words that describe me the best. And if you ask your brother, you're probably going to get a few swear words and a few derogatory comments, but find someone else that'll help you. So once you get those comments back from people that are you've messaged, you're going to have all these values, honest, loyal, that kind of stuff. And then you're going to think, okay, let's do my first draft of core values with those words, with those values. Let's add a verb to it. So, hey, for example, for nucleane, our core values are very simple. It's be honest, work together, have fun, and make money. And that goes for everyone. When I say make money, they're like, oh, of course, every company wants to make money, but this goes for our clients. We want to do a great service for them so they have a great, clean facility, so they're able to make more money, because it's been shown that if you have a clean facility, clean restrooms, people are more likely to spend money at your location than if you don't. So we want them to make money first, because that helps us to make money and keeps making more money longer. And in return, those employees that are doing a good job for us, they make more money because they're the ones on the front lines doing the actual work. So those are our core values for nucleane, and that's for me personally. Those are my core values. So whatever company I end up doing in the future, or if I stay with nucleane, those, no matter what, will be my core values going forward. So write down your first draft of core values. So whatever the common consensus of your 5 people you've texted, whatever they said about you, put those in as your first draft. And then now you have also some 4 things that just drive you nuts. So those things obviously we got to stay away from. And that's something also that you can keep a hold of as you're going to create a hiring ad and funnel to attract the people you want to attract. Okay, so after you've done that, you've created that kind of information. So you take that first set of core values, and then you write down some of the common problems you have within your company. And so you have a problem, and then you right below it, you say what's number 1 core value, and then another. Then you write all of your core values down below the problem. So maybe a common problem is, hey, quality concerns, or maybe what's a good one that would be just general for everyone? Maybe the quality done at your client's location, or a service provided to a client wasn't up to par. And so that's maybe a common problem. So you write that problem down, be specific with it, and then write all your core values below it. Core values 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't have more than 5. 5, then it just starts to become more of a motto and something crazy. But you want to be able to have something quick, 4 to 5, 5 being the most core values, so you can just rattle them off. And you should be able to, once you get these down, you should be able to just rattle them off. This is me. This is my core values. This is where I stand. This is the type of company I'm going to build. And so under each core value, under the problem that you wrote, you write a way to solve that problem using that core value. Okay, so number 1 would be honest. Okay, so what's the honest way to handle this problem with your client that you had an issue with? Okay, well, obviously we're not going to lie about it. We're going to come forward, and if there's a way to solve it and make the client whole again, because you don't just want to make it, bring them up to where it should be, but make them whole, so they want to actually come back and visit you again for your company. So be honest with them. Speak the truth to them. Don't try to hide the truth. Don't make excuses. Just when you were a kid, when you came in late, what worked and what didn't. Your parents smell it a mile away. Hey, all these excuses you're going to rattle off, and your clients smell it a mile away. They don't want excuses. They just want you to say, hey, that was me. Something just happened today with me. I missed an email, and it was a couple days until I got back to it, and I totally spaced it. It was all on me. Called the client up, said, hey, this is all me, guys. And I took full blame. There was no excuse, and we were able to solve it. No big deal. And we're still on talking terms, and we're still client and customer relation. So that would be the first thing to do. The second thing to do with your core values. So write the problem down, write down all your core values, and then beside each core value, write down the solution using that core value. So that would be the next one. Now you're thinking to me at this point, you're probably like, okay, this is all fine and dandy, but where does this come in with the core values? Where does this come in with hiring and helping me stop the bleeding when I can't find people to hire? Okay, so that's good. That's good that you understand that. So now with your core values, we're gonna write. Well, before that, I guess let's move on, because you're gonna see where this connects. Move on to employees. Okay, number 1. Of course, there's some non-negotiables, like legal to work here. They need to have a drug and background check. They need to be a core values match. and they need to have their own transportation. This is for our company. It's probably for yours too. An ability to work the hours you need. Those are non-negotiables, and every company has non-negotiables. So you come up with what are non-negotiables to you, and you set those in stone, and that's the line in the sand. Now you get down to we want to write down your 5 best employees of all time and your 5 worst employees of all time. And you can go from age, marital status, and you can write this all down so you can understand, gender, kids, part-time, full-time, only job, second job, ethnicity, distance to your office, all that kind of stuff you can track. It's also helpful. So as you are running your ads on Facebook or anything else, you have a certain demographic you're trying to go for, so you do your 5 best, your 5 worst, and you find your 5 worst, and then you describe the worst ones. What made them your worst? And then same with your 5 best. What made them your best employees? And then you have their name and the description. This is just for you. This is just for private. This is not going to be going out into the interwebs. This is just for you to go through this exercise. Once you have that information, this is what a good employee for our company looks like out of these 5. See consistent among those 5, and then capture that. Next step of writing an ad to attract them, and then also find the commonality to the 5 worst employees you've ever had, and say, okay, this is how I need to be capturing my audience, and as I write my ad here. So the first thing I would do, let me just get to where I was trying to go. First of all, you want to have an ad, and for my ad, I'll just show it to you real quick. If I can just pull it up real quick. All those on the podcast. First, you're going to have to on the internet later on and look at this if you want to look at it. But this is our hiring ad for nucleane. We have all the boring stuff you need right at the beginning: shifts, tasks, some of the stuff you need to be able to do, of course, and then some requirements. And then at that point, they click on what city they want to apply on. So let's go to Pocatello. And the way we wrote this is right equaling with our core values. So number one, a headline that's going to attract them, that speaks to their pain. Are you the most reliable person you know? Do you enjoy being appreciated for your hard work? That's just who we are. That's who we're trying to attract. And then you go for, okay, this opportunity is for you if, and again, you guys have seen Indeed. You've seen all the different hiring ads. They're boring. They're lackluster. And if you're trying to hire, especially for a service company, man, you want something that's going to stand out above the crowd. So ours is, okay, this opportunity is for you if you know how to pick up your phone and text it and call back. Okay, that was one of our things we established in some of our worst and best employees. Okay, so that's where it comes in. Number 2, show up every time on time. You don't need someone looking over your shoulder to get work done. You enjoy being appreciated for your hard work. You work well with people, and you are fun to be around. Okay, so those are very close to our core values, and they kind of tap on all the core values that we are about. And then it goes on, okay, is your heart beating fast? Question mark, read on. If you're bored out of your mind, then stop. And that's exactly what we want. We don't want to hire warm bodies. We want good people for our businesses. So it goes on. This opportunity is not for you if you are in trouble with the law, like drugs, and hate everyone. Okay, obviously, one of our core values is to have fun, but it's also being honest. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're having fun. We're a little tongue-in-cheek, and we're making people laugh a little bit, but we're being honest what we don't want. If you don't have a car, ... that runs. If you change jobs more than you shower, if 8 o'clock means 8:05 to you, and if you like being bored and hate humans, or if you kick puppies, if someone kicks a puppy, they're the worst. So, and then what we've done here is, okay, if you're digging our vibes, schedule for an upcoming Wednesday interview. So asking yourself right now, why the crap would I do an interview every week? Okay, so for our industry, we're having a little higher turnover than other industries, but still, service industry jobs, especially now with unemployment and everything else going on, and the high, especially construction, it's a high demand field right now. So they're looking for good people to hire. So what you need to be doing is, okay, there's going to be people headhunting your good people. So you obviously got to have some kind of funnel bringing in good applicants every week. Even if you're fully staffed, you're still getting applicants coming in every week. And then you're like, okay, I've got someone really good here that I want to hire. Where's my D and C players? Because we need to have a talk with them, and maybe we get rid of one of those D and C players that aren't helping us with our clients and maybe making us look bad, and we get rid of them and we bring in a new A player. And that's what helps you with consistent quality, consistent customer service, everything like that. So we literally made this super automated. We linked this right to Calendly, and they can go on and schedule their interview. It's only on, for Pocatello, it's only on Wednesday at 5:45. And then Calendly easily just sends them text reminders 2 days before, 5 days before, and even 2 hours before, letting them know, hey, there's an interview coming up. Right now with COVID, we're doing virtual interviews with FaceTime, stuff like that, or Google Meets. So that's important. And but recently, because of the unemployment, the extra pay they're giving people, it's been harder for us to find good people. We actually had 18, and I'll tell you this too. Once you have people sign up for an interview, doesn't mean they're going to come. It just means they're signed up. They just went through that first step. So that's another part of tracking where your applicants are coming from. If they're coming from your ad on Facebook, or if they're coming from your ad on Indeed or Glassdoor, or any other hiring sites out there. I tried Craigslist. It didn't work good for me. Not saying it wouldn't work good for you, but it didn't bring the best applicants in. That way you can track, okay, my money's going in this category in Facebook or Indeed. I'm spending this much money. I'm getting this result back. And you track it by, this is how many people applied. This is how many people showed up to the interview. This is how many people I hired from each category. So that way you know where to put your money. You don't want to waste money, okay? That's important. In business, you just don't like to waste money, and we all understand that. So track it, track your hiring efforts that way. I even track my sales that way, my leads and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that later, but right now it's all hiring. So track it, and then you get to see exactly what's coming in to your funnel. So say you have 18 people. So for example, we had 18 people signed up for an interview last Wednesday. And we thought, okay, maybe, because what our tracking shows is, okay, we're typically getting about 60-65% showing up from who's signing up to who's showing up. So we're like, okay, maybe 6, 7, don't do my math for me. I'm bad at math off the top of my head. So we're thinking maybe, okay, at the most, maybe 8. Maybe at the most, maybe 10. But we're expecting probably, 6 to 7, and 1 showed up. So we're like, okay, shoot, well, we need more employees, because we've grown, and we need more employees to continue to do our work. And so that was the situation that we're in. Because of that, we're like, okay, well, we're not going to just give up. Find a new way to find good people to work. So you've got to have, at that point, a checklist of what you got to do when employees don't show up, or you don't have enough employees. What are the steps you need to be taking as a company so jobs can continue to roll? And so that's another thing that we can talk more about later. But have that checklist. I know I've talked about before with the example of a pilot. Engine catches on fire while you're in the air. Okay, you just can't quit and say, oh, we're done for. No, you got to make something work. You got to land that freaking plane. So what he does, okay, step 1, and I'm not a pilot, so all you pilots out there, you can correct me. Step 1, I would imagine, cut the engine, cut the fuel of the engine. Step 2, extinguish the flame. Step 3, yada yada yada. And that's exactly what you have to have with your company. And when it comes to hiring, and getting jobs done, you've got to have a checklist of, so it doesn't all of a sudden say, okay, the perfect scenario of all your employees showing up all the time and doing the job right. Okay, if that doesn't work, I guess then as the business owner, I've got to step up every time. And that's not a business. That's you owning your job. So at that point, you've got a few things between, and I'm stealing Dave Ramsey's term and phrase right now, but you gotta have something between your employees and Murphy. You know, always want to be that person that says, okay, well, someone didn't show up or something didn't happen right. I've got to go do it. Have some things lined up. For us, it's, someone doesn't show up, or we don't have enough employees, we turn a two-person team into a three-person team. They do more contracts. If that doesn't happen, we're down more people, then we maybe look into having an on-call person that we pay a monthly fee to that comes and helps clean. If that doesn't happen, then we maybe go to a staffing company. So we have all these different steps in place. So I don't have to go out personally and drop everything just when something happens like that. So that's what you need to do when you're hiring too, is when something doesn't happen the way you want, okay, you're not going to turn it off, but you're going to keep it running. And then you're going to say, okay, if I need something done, let's make something else happen. So what we're doing now, for example, we have people signing up for next week's interview. We're calling them now. We're trying to go through their funnel and go through our questions with them, see if they're going to be a fit now, and try to stop the bleeding. So that's hiring. A big one for us is, you want to make it, create a hiring page and an ad that speaks to you, to your not clients. That's a sales funnel. You want to find something that speaks to your best future employees, and then is written based off your core values. So, and then all hiring ads should have a call to action that says, click on this link, because we don't want phone calls all the day long. You want to make it automated. Click on this link, go sign up for an interview or whatever you want, but have it set up that way. Ours is click on this link, schedule an interview, and you go through a group interview and you go on from there. So after they've gone through the group interview, they go on to a one-on-one interview, and either I or my operations manager, Robin, picks that up. After that, they go on to a working week interview. And the reason we do that is because we call it blood in and blood out. If you make it painful to get in their head, it's going to make it a little more painful to want to get out. But if you make it easy and you have one phone call with a person and say, hey, you do this type of job? Oh yeah, I can do that. Okay, you're hired. That's not much pain. We're not trying to make it hard on purpose, but they're going to find it really easy to leave your company if that's the extent of your interview process. So make it automated, have one call to action. Don't have, hey, call this number, click this link, look us up on Facebook. No, one call to action. You want them to do one thing when they're on your hiring ad. And after that, you have a setup with Calendly or Aweber or something like that emails them, that texts them 48 hours before the interview, 24 hours before the interview, and 2 hours before the interview, letting them know this is what's going on. Be at this interview, make it easy. So, and then remember 3 interviews. So, for us, we do the 3 interviews, and we do, try to do 3 different places with those interviews, and then we do 3 different people are conducting them. So the group interview is one person, one-on-one's a different person, and the working week interview, they're being, that person is their trainer, and they're also in close contact with us, and that's how that works. So it's not hard. I know it's like all these different steps to do it, but once you get this set up, guys, man, it makes things so much easier, makes life so much better, and you start seeing qualified applicants coming in every week, and that way you get to the point that you're running your company and your employees are no longer running it, and they're not holding you hostage, and you're not begging someone to stay. They don't want to be here. That's fine. You have 2 or 3 or 4 are already warmed up in the bullpen. Because if you have a bunch of 8 players and you not needing to get rid of them, then the people that are quality that are coming in just say, hey, we want to keep you in our bullpen, our keep warm list. And as soon as something happens, or we're going to come and grab you. So that's the best way, guys. I would say, especially for service industries, but for white collar stuff too. And it can't hurt to have a few applicants coming in, every month, to have some not revolving door, but some selection. So if someone in your industry, in your office isn't working out, and I'm not, hey, pro fire, but hey, you've got to put your first foot forward, your best foot forward when you're dealing with the clients. And if your employees aren't putting that best foot forward for you, you've got to make a change, and you can't be afraid to make a change. So if you've got quality applicants coming in all the time, it makes it a little easier. Okay, hey, we've already had this conversation with you 2 or 3 times. You've had corrective behavior interviews with them. Nothing's changing. Okay, it's time to make a change. You're out, you're in. So make hiring easier, guys. It's an easy way to do it. But I'm glad you tuned in today. Hope you learned a few things about hiring and firing and your core values. But I'm serious, guys. Go get your core values made. Write your hiring ad based on your core values and based upon your best employees and your worst employees, so you know exactly what you're looking for. Right now, if you're not tracking anything, your results of where your employees are coming from or what exactly you need in an employee, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You're wandering blind through the wilderness. Like, organize yourself, make something happen, and I promise you, your company is going to get better and better by having more options to tune into. So again, thanks guys for coming in, listen to the Pocatello Business Podcast, and go check out Pack and Go. Go check out Dell's Outdoor Advertising. Man, they've got some good offers if you mention the Pocatello Business Podcast. For your billboard needs, your moving and storage needs, call your Pack and Go. And till next time, guys, have a great one. We'll chat with you later.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.